I, I managed to get and finish the latest Digimon game, Digimon Story Time Stranger, after less than a year of its release date, only after 8 months. However, as you can see, the video was released a little over 10 months after its release, after its game's release. And of course, it turns out I published a previous Digimon Story video before Time Stranger getting released. So of course this video was released after a long time after the Digimon Survivor video. And turns out while I was playing the game, Bandai announced a free update and I finished the main story before the update. And turns out when this game's update came, then Bandai also removed then for the DRM from the game. But more about it later in the video. Of course, I tried avoiding spoilers before playing this game when it was hyped, like it seemed to be hyped from YouTube video titles. But here and there I probably saw gameplay clips and of course I modded Digimon subreddit while I get chance to play in this game. And of course I had forgotten that I saw gameplay clips, but while playing the game I remembered a little bit that I saw some gameplay clips. But it didn't impact my enjoyment of the game, because I remembered only when I reached the same point in the game. And well, I checked the demo version to see if it runs on the laptop that I plugged in to see something. And I found out that Sweet or just shadow, or that part of the model is colored black, which I also confirmed when playing the game now. Of course, I'm talking that I found out you can't upskirt female characters while playing the demo and confirmed with the base game, but now also noticed contour or something like that of that part. And now that I played the base game, yeah, I understood the hype that I assumed that there is. Of course, I only got the base game on sale and with the birthday money, which was gifted me long ago, like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. 4 months ago when this video gets published. And I still haven't spent all the birthday money. So I'm only reviewing the base game and I can't really comment on DLCs. But DLCs with a bulk price, I still think might not be worth it. But more about it later in the video. Digimon Story Time Stranger was developed by Media Activision and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. It works only for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series for both Xbox Series consoles, if there are only 2, and for computers. Well, technically only for Windows, but because it is released on Steam, then it could have been played on different computer OS thanks to Proton that Steam OS. Well, at least also on Linux thanks to Proton. This game can be played. Around the same time, the free update release, it also was published for both Nintendo Switches, like for Switch 1 and Switch 2, and including with update pack or something like from Nintendo Switch 1 to Switch 2. I don't own Switches, so I'm not sure what it is. The premise is while doing a mission investigating an anomaly or multiple anomalies, which of course is about Digimon, the player character Yoki, short name for both genders, gets sent to the past 8 years ago. While in the past, Yoki finds out that they need to have one Digimon to be a hero by dealing with situations from different Digimon groups aiming outward, and of course, which leads to save faults. And it's mainly for the Digimon, but of course, with the help of Yoki. And of course, there's, as I mentioned, there is time travel involved. The story is interesting, even with dark themes, like the war between Digimon. I don't know what else to say about it, but with that, I think that isn't enough. Of course, it also includes interesting events and twists, but other than that, I'm not sure what can I say about the story. Like, of course, the story intrigued me that I wanted to know more about it, but I could prolong it to those side quests. So maybe the story didn't intrigue me that much if I could have done side quests. Or it did intrigue me so much that I wanted to know more by doing side quests if the side quests adds to the story. And of course I was able to keep playing it because the gameplay is fun. Speaking of which, only I'll to start talking about the gameplay. I guess with that, of course, there is exploration mode and turn-based combat mode, not just turn-based combat. Of course, from exploration mode in Drake situations, you get into turn-based combat, like only from roaming encounters, boss battles and Vix battles which might be boss battles that I mentioned before or not, either in main story or side quest battles. So no random encounters and no fights against what could have been equal to hackers from cyber slot games. The combat is of course turn-based combat with direction and controls. Like basic attack is in similar in 4 directions like up, down and left and right. There are different actions to do. Plus there are different buttons for more different actions. And of course there is a timeline which shows when each Digimon can do actions, and when selecting the action for said Digimon, then said action is immediately done by said Digimon. Now also sync items doesn't do said Digimon turn, so you can use items whenever it's any of your Digimon turn and use Digimon actions. Items only once per said Digimon turn. So kinda system what was in Digimon World 2. Instead of having cross combo that was in both cyber slot games, Time Stranger is cross arts. Is extra action done by the player character whenever it's ready, and you can choose to activate. And awaits vary what cross arts you have self that, which can be done only outside of the battle, and different cross arts can be unlocked from agent skills. Before talking about agent skills, I need to talk about roaming Digimon. You can ambush them by shooting them. Otherwise they can ambush you. In a track there aren't roaming encounters without either you ambushing Digimon or they ambushing you. But also there are roaming encounters like that. But it seems that it is harder to get into. And if your Digimon are powerful enough, you can defeat Digimon outside of the battle, of course by shooting them. However, only when there is one Digimon in the encounter, or maybe if your Digimon you attack and defeats all Digimon. Now about agent skills, which are connected to the agent rand. You get points you need to complete either main or side quests, and when spending points to unlock skills, which includes cross-arts, but also more, your agent rank gets increased. Well, with point system, I guess. Having higher ranks allows you to have higher take evolutions forms. Speaking of which, basically there are every method of take evolutions. Minus for take evolutions. But I just going to higher take evolutions form, skipping forms in the middle of the take evolution forms. Of course, you can also take default your Digimon to the previous form, or even to different forms if you have seen the Digimon, or Digimon personality match for the form. Of course, it also is armor and spirit evolutions. What about DNA evolutions? Of course, this game is it, but you know what? If you tactical back the form, you get both Digimon back. Finally it happened. And maybe with it, if you get the DNA evolutions forms in a different way, then you might be able to get a free Digimon by evolving it, if it didn't get fixed. Which I thought I would an experience. Well, I didn't experience it while doing the main story, because of personality requirements, by looking through the box to share Digimon for said personality, I was able to DNA Digimon in the game. But only after I beat the final boss. And a new form of Digivolutions, or now finally its own thing, is the mod change, which keeps Digimon stats and changing mods. Both DNA Digivolving and mod change can be also done in parallel. Mod changes only for some by doing specific skills, and DNA Digivolutions per Digimon should be active party members and all systems of both Digimon, and change back to say Digimon when using DNA Digivolution form skill. So for mod change, only specific Digimon can do that in parallel. Speaking of party members, of course you can have up to 3 Digimon to be active, and now only up to 3 Digimon in reserve, and up to 3 quest Digimon, which includes the area Digimon that I mentioned before, which you can command, unlike rest of quest Digimon. But there is also a Digimon box where you can have up to 919 Digimon, which also gain experience and can be accessible and are accessible anytime except when you are in parallel. There is still Digimon, but only one where you can have only up to 3D Digimon, which is accessible from in between the others. Digifarm is used for training specific stats for Digimon by specific item for said stat, which takes time and passive to collect materials for crafting, which is needed to get, for example, armor, eggs and spirit evolution system, and within Digimon to switching personalities. We know also training items might be also applied to switch personalities for Digimon. Digimon personalities are mainly requirements for Dig evolutions. And of course there are other requirements for Dig evolutions except level requirements. There aren't level requirements. But active Digimon can tell for exploring. And by talking with them, Digimon personality can change, and with it Digimon can get a different personality skill, for which there are different effects what they do. Of course, also because of different things, personality skills can change. Some Digimon can ask for same stuff using Digimon. We're not sure if it's only reserved Digimon or Digimon from the box, but I rarely get those. Now that I play, I still continue playing the game, and I guess Digimon from the box also can ask these kind of questions from the box using Digimon. Other than that, Digimon is used for main story and side quests, and shortcuts for Digimon set ups like Dig evolutions and action skills. Speaking of quests, of course it also has a map, including a mini-map and a waypoint system. But what this game is about and what kind of technology the player generated is, I think then it is understandable having this SCADA system. And different areas from each other are accessible only from menus. I guess also side quests are well about at the same time are all active at the same time. But only for the selected quests the waypoint will be shown. The player generated from the start of the game is cannot find items from the chests or wherever materials can appear. Materials reappear when reloading the same area. Of course, level up still levels HP and SP, but now staying in a play in explorations mode for a fall can heal your Digimon. There are specific arenas where a specific type of attack is needed outside of the battle. Speaking of attacks, now Digimon skills are separated into two categories. Special skills, which is specific for the Digimon form, and achievement skills, which work similar to Eggman mode, but for skills to Digimon. So the same skill can implement to different Digimon. Also, Digimon learns adjustment skills, but I'm not sure how that works. And these skills also works as equipment. Of course, there are regular equipments, something like specific effects, and regular attachments like effects. You can also rate your Digimon to go faster or slower, but some Digimon which which seems to be rateable, you can't rate it. Well, what I'm calling tangents, they are locked, but you can save the game anywhere. And there is also save, which saves every time closes the menu and it autos and the games auto saves also in other places. So going through the time is manageable, the tangents. There is also a card game, which just is using only 5 cards in the match, which is randomly chosen before match. Okay, all this might have been gameplay featured spoilers, but more or less, I think I shared only basic gameplay features. I can't think of how else to say about all these things. Now about some pet peeves, if it's like them, but I want to use a different term, but I forgot what was it, and I still can't remember about the game and some miscellaneous and miscellaneous stuff. It then for there, but it was removed when the free update was released. Like it had 5 machine limits per day. For me on Windows it wasn't a problem, but for everyone to play it, for example on Steam Deck, Proton counts as a different machines every time the game was launched, from what I have heard. Supposedly then for the RAM impacts performance, but for this game I didn't really notice it. Now I could check when it was removed, or maybe I noticed performance improvement, or my mate was playing tricks on me, or because OBS wasn't opened even for replay popper, or just being open at all. But for a freezing problem, I would need to replace the game to reach that point. Immediately after completing the base game, I just don't want to start a new game plus, especially when there is post-game content too. Well then there was slow loading, which I wasn't sure if it was then a fault. Then there was a little bit of freeze, and I wondered if it was then a fault, or the game's fault, or my system, they didn't like that part of the game. So if it was the game's fault, then for that part it was programmed badly. When choosing genders or gender appearance instead of saying the game shows only appearance, doesn't call them genders like male and female. But because appearance can be changed at any time from options, then genders are called as type B and as type A and type B. If it's for inclusivity, I think that's the wrong way to implement it. Maybe even that's opposite of inclusivity when body types are clearly visible to differentiators like male and female, and colored body types which are visible only from options. Of course there is English audio, but I chose to play the game with Japanese audio and English subtitles in 8 codes. Proper English subtitles in 8 codes also send text from English audio script, even when having Japanese voice audio. So that wasn't really accurate translation like this, but more or less from Japanese complex codes and from little what I understood then. I tried to experience the game as close as possible to original or something like that. Internet thing. I mean, but I'm not sure what was the traveling or some, I don't know. Anyways, for most of the camera in exploration mode, the camera is in third person, but in some areas there are different camera angle types, like security camera angle. Other than the freezing problem, which I mentioned before, I encountered some other glitches. When Paula is a cutscene but you are also a cross art ready, then because NPC Digimon tells the camera should focused on it, but then cross art being ready, animations plays out, then the game glitches and the camera can be stuck on the player shader, being frozen at the end of cross art animations. Or maybe even your Digimon can be in front of the frozen player character model. When an active party member stalks, then private text can be stuck behind or in front of answers to questions that Digimon asked. Then having a loading icon fault, there is still dialogue. Of course you can nickname Digimon, but because I skipped that sections, tutorial if there was. I didn't see if the game explained it or not. They are low quality with NPC models, even if you are made by them. Like say even doesn't ever ace. Still when buying clothes you can prevail them when buying. And Rocket is already time for that. And for the female avatar, other clothing adds once those options. There still isn't a clothing option for a female avatar that adds skirts or dresses. The only dress option is a default outfit. Wait, no. There was outfit in Cyberslot that adds dress to... not dress but skirt to female that avatar. Or what I think is a dress. So this game went backwards with female avatars clothing options. Because characters fade out or something like that, if the camera is close to the model, then for a little while you can see the character's face from inside. NPC fluff dialogue appears automatically in a black text box. Most of the main story is voice acted, but here and there some dialogue isn't voice. I like the main story being fully voice acted, but it's better than not having even text sound effects for 3D cutscenes. It's understandable why side quests dialogue would be voice acted. The in between the under is not only a place to assist for fun, but also other touches that you find, and also a shop, but also where you can encounter DLC prompts. Well, which appeared also before it, but the remainder of DLC is easily noticeable from in between the others. Like, I just can avoid switching close to avoid seeing DLC remainder about customs. Especially when female avatar there isn't other options with dresses or skirts. And also where you can meet young Mirai, for appeared young from the very beginning of the game. Speaking about DLCs, because I didn't experience them myself, but looking from the outside, I'm not sure if they are worth it. Maybe if they are on a big discount. Only which adds gameplay content. Cosmetic stuff, like costumes, may not be worth even on a big discount. Actually, also other dungeon DLCs, like for experience or money or materials, might not be worth even on a big discount. Other dungeons are challenges. Other than DLC, other dungeons are challenges and meeting specific conditions you unlock lore from someone. I still don't like the Digimon loading functions, even when I use it once or twice. Even though there is voice audio for avatar when it is as an operator, the main character is still mostly silent in dialogue. Like in dialogue shows MC talking, but there isn't either voice or text dialogue when MC talks. But one instance there where MC talks and there is a line when beating the final boss, but for which there weren't subtitles. At least on the computer when opening the game for the first time, the game opens its settings, so I now open it. I noticed only sound effects being reused, like the Connections jump sound effect or locking door add-in sound effect from Cyberslot are also used for this game, which is understandable and the implementation is fine. Some quests, or just one, asks you to use your own resources to complete the quest. But thankfully, after using them, you can keep the items that are needed for the quest. Because Digivolutions doesn't a level requirement, then you can Digivolve immediately if that's armed. To Digivolve Digimon, you need to take them outside from it and Digivolve them from the box. Now from Digivolve you can see Digivolution stats. There's a free update, but you still can't Digivolve them from Digivolve. You still need to take Digivolve from outside from Digivolve to Digivolve. Speaking of a free update, it also added the Digimon Assistant. It's a usable Digimon. It's a mod change for the Digimon. And lastly, photo mode, which only allows to move the camera near the player or original camera sources for the site arena. Like, for example, security camera angles photo modes will be connected to that positions of camera. There is auto mode button. He stays active over multiple bullets until you disable it, and it seems auto mode does random actions instead of just basic attacks. Also, you can speed up bullets up to 5 times faster, which for me was also when only using auto mode. There is random mode, but localized as random mode, and the moment there isn't, at least for now, there isn't any multiplayer. So far it is only a single player game, if multiplayer is planned to be added. This might be a spoiler, but it was only one instance. And I will spoil one aspect of it. And of course I won't show it. Randomly from out of nowhere, it stops you from using items. Like what? There weren't any situations like that before, even for side quests. In other dungeons, also disable changing to resort Digimon and it's introduced. It isn't connected to the story, so well, of course it isn't connected to the story. So from it didn't seem it would force to that path, and there weren't other situations like that afterwards. So for that part I grinded a little bit by using auto mode and changing to land a bit. I experienced with loading features, and even when attempting the difference, only it was still difficult, or just tedious and it randomly disable items. And that implementation was used only once, at least in the main story, and side quests before finishing the game. Both games still is set before the final boss fight, but unlocked only after beating the final boss fight. I normally don't mention music and graphics because most of the time I'm not sure what to say about them. Graphics makes game looks beautiful, and I don't know what else I can say. Yeah, music is good or even great, and again, normally I don't know what else to say. So I normally don't mention it, but this time I think I have something to say about it. It hypes me up so much that I want to do something with my life. Or does the game overall hypes me that much? Still, I don't know what else I can do other than making videos for YouTube. With inconsistent internet speed and rugged Wi-Fi, streaming doesn't work. So you can get enough achievement just out of the base game. So I can recommend you to play this game. maybe not for full price. Unless you have disposable income to spend if you really want it. Or you can try it by playing the game's demo to see if you like it or not. And with Shave mic transfer, but I didn't notice that happening to me. But then I played with a demo before the game got released and I didn't get far in the demo. So maybe that was a different demo version. Okay, I need to wait for text. It's now going past. Again, I'm not sure about DLCs. Maybe only if you really want to play more of the game and on a big discount. And only DLCs that are add extra content to and not cosmetic stuff. Okay, sorry about that. I guess now back to Megami Tensei games until I get to play the next Digimon game. Or I run out of those games. Then again, Digimon Up might have been released before this video got published. I'll see about it when I play it. To see when I'll make video about it, if I'll make video about it, because I'm facing it's a mobile gacha game. Thanks for watching all of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.